Welcome back to another session of constitutional and legal history. Today, topics 2, we're going to discuss about the Magna Carta. So, the Magna Carta was a document that was formulated in the 1215 due to some reasons, and it is known as the base for the development of constitutionalism under the king figures, which was under King John of England, who was well known for his arbitrary rules. Yeah, so these there were key figures who led to the formation of the Magna Carta. King John of England, who was heavy on taxation to fund war, especially against France, and conflicts with the Pope and his own barons, rebellious barons who were a coalition of English nobles who were fed up with King John's abuse of power, and they stood against his authority. And such people like Archbishop Stephen Langton, also, who mediated the role, helping to draft the document known as the Magna Carta. So the original purpose was not a grand statement of human rights, but primarily a peace treaty to resolve the conflict between King John and the rebellious barons, which the name barons is for the nobles, aiming to address specific grievances related to feudal rights, taxes, and royal abuses. And it was signed at Runnymede in 1215, the year 1215, which was seen because, however, it was reissued and remodified by future monarchs like King Henry III in the year 1216 to 1225, and Edward I in 1297, and it was cemented its place in English law in the year 1225 version. Particularly is the one commonly referred as the definitive text of the Magna Carta. So next you're going to look at the provisions of the Magna Carta. So in the provisions of the Magna Carta, so the Magna Carta being a document, it had clauses, and some of these clauses were freedom of the English Church, which were granted the freedom for church from the royal interference by the monarch in England. Another clause which was taxation, which prohibited the king from levying certain feudal aids without the common council of the kingdom. Another one was to subject the monarch into the law, whereby everybody was to be under the law because nobody is supposed to be above the law. Another clause, which was clause 39, which was the due process and lawful judgment, whereby no free man shall be seized or imprisoned or stripped of his rights or possession, or exiled or deprived of his standings, whereby the proceedings with force against him. So those were some of the clauses. Clause 40, which was access to justice. Another clause, which was the appointment of judges, and security clauses of the barons. So it was a document which led to the development of laws and a constitution for the rights of the people, and that it advocated for everybody to be subjected under the law. So, because nobody was supposed to be over the law. So, this Magna Carta had its significance, and one of the major significance about it was it was intended, but in its evolving interpretation and symbolic powers over centuries, it established establishment of the rule of law. So the first significance of the Magna Carta was the establishment of the rule of law, limitation of royal powers, whereby the kings were subjected to the law and all the monarchs, foundation of individual liberties for the freeman, the Freeman Clause, the following of the due process, the habeas corpus, whereby the habeas corpus was the right not to be imprisoned without lawful cause and to be brought to court before a court. So that was the habeas corpus. Another establishment of the Magna Carta was a symbol of liberty and resistance to tyranny. A blueprint for the future charters and the declaration and its impacts on constitutional history. Magna Carta influenced the constitutional history due to the development of the English constitutionalism, which was adopted by the Americans in the year 1715, I guess so, or 1717, whereby they established the American constitution, which is now used, which was seen as the birth of constitution, and the Magna Carta being the base of it. So thank you, and I will see you next time.